Okay, it's 10:30 a.m. on June 11th, 2025. This is the meeting of the Whitman Aid to the Elderly and Disabled Taxation Fund Committee. President are John Galvin.
Brian Trussell.
Heidi Hosmer.
Ken Layla.
Sharon Lopiccolo.
All right. I want to welcome Heidi as a representative, as the chair of the board, newly elected chair of the Board of Assessors. So Heidi takes over for John Noska as a representative of the committee. So that's awesome. Welcome, Heidi. And Sharon's still with us, as she kind of knew the last meeting that Sharon was still going to be with us. So that's good to know too. Anyway, so meeting minutes for the last meeting, which was the May 14th, 2025 meeting. Is there a motion on the floor to accept them?
Motion.
Seconded.
Discussion? Anybody discussion on that?
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I didn't vote because I wasn't here.
Right.
So you're going to abstain officially, Heidi?
Yeah, because
Okay,
I
that's
wasn't
cool.
at that meeting.
We'll get that. All right, so update from Sharon. Did the accountant get to our account yet?
He reached out to me and he said we needed to have a bank account for it to go into.
Okay.
So we got in touch with Bristol County, but I also said, well, wait a minute. If we're doing a bank account, and we're doing online payments, I need to check how we're going to do the online payment part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did talk to Josh. He said we don't have a problem. We can set up in Unibank
Okay.
like we do, like people pay all
Right.
their other things. We can do that. I wanted to run it by Mary Beth how that works.
Okay.
And she said, no, you just set that up. I set the other one account, and we sweep them through every month.
Okay.
So we're in process. We're closer than we've
That's
ever
cool.
been.
That's. I mean,
Okay.
there's no rush, honestly. And
And-
we can talk about that.
But
It's
one-
actually on the agenda later to talk
Okay.
about.
And
that.
one thing led to another. As I was, maybe this isn't the spot to say. So we do need to, if we want it on the real estate bills, we do need to decide what it's supposed to look like, because again, they're going out next week. I mean,
Right.
they're going to the printer next week,
Right.
and they'll be out.
Yeah, we do
So,
have that.
okay.
I did add that to
Okay.
the agenda
Okay.
later on, so we can talk about that.
Later. Okay.
All right, so that's good. Application revision. So I sent everybody a copy of what I hope I got all the changes to it. If anybody needs a copy, I have some hard copy here if you want a hard copy. Before we get into that, I kind of want to, if it's okay, want to jump to new business real quick. And just because if you notice on the top of
there it is,
I put the fiscal year 27 application. So what I wanted to discuss was, and if it's okay, I'm going to jump to item B under new business, which is, when are we going to start this? Now, it's always been my intention, and I hadn't really thought about it until now, when I was going through this application, that we were not going to do anything for fiscal year 26. My reasoning was basically because we don't have any money.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
Exactly.
if for us to try to spend get what we need to get in the next couple of months. I mean, we have an October deadline. It would be crazy, and I'd hate to just start off this thing with,
Zero,
only a little
yeah.
bit of money. Now, just a little background: when we're having the meetings on the override, the one down at the senior center, which was packed with people, I actually. I commented that we were starting this, and I told everybody there that we weren't going to be starting for fiscal year 26. And so Mary Holland knows that, and the people that were in attendance who are going to be, our main clients, customers, advocates, or we're advocating for them, they've been told, or a lot of them have been told, that we're not going to do it this year. And I think with the override not passing and the middle school not spending as much money as they thought they were going to spend, it gives us a little break to really get this done and do this right. So I don't know that we have to vote on it. Maybe we do want to vote on it, that we're not going to do anything for fiscal year 26, or we just all in agreement that, if you think we need to vote on it, we can, but I don't know that we need to.
No, I don't think
We don't have any obligation to to do anything, right? In other
Right.
words, it's not like because let's just say like hypothetically, this meeting goes really well, we get this tomorrow, some business in town drops $250,000 into the account once it gets set up,
Yeah.
right? Like we could in theory do it in October if we were ready, but we don't. I don't know if we have to vote that we're not going to do it
Right.
until because we're still building everything, right? So I think that
right.
like
Agree.
so I
I
think it's
agree.
like I think
and
that,
it's right in our guidelines. It says there's somewhere in these 4 pages it says that we're in no obligation to
right.
do any money any year. I mean,
Right.
who knows? 5 years from now, all of a sudden we hardly have any money for some reason. When we can decide then that we're going to pass on this year.
Right.
So okay.
So I just think that like you're right. It's probably we're not going to get everything done and everything lined up until FY27. But I don't think we need to formally vote on it just because if we got a bunch of money all of a sudden and everything was all
Right.
set and we couldn't
True.
actually and we said we voted that we were going to do it in 27.
Yeah. All right. So
I think just that would be my kind of thought
so
process.
so we're all in consensus that we're not going to do it this year. But if somebody drops $250K on us, we could.
Right,
So,
well.
all right. So that's it. So we'll move forward now with the back to the line item or the item for the application. So I was telling Ryan as I came in, I hope I got all the changes that everybody was asked for. I had in different place notes and things like that. But if there's anything that you see that I missed, Heidi, I know on page 2, I want to make sure I have the right email address for you.
You do. I just have to set it up on my phone.
Okay.
I don't know how to do that, so
All right.
maybe.
I mean, I think it's better to have our government.
Oh, I agree. I just need to. If you can help me, tell me.
All
how to,
right. Well, all right. I
tell
think
me
I
how
can
to
do
get it on my phone. Then we're good.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Do you actually get it anywhere on a computer or anything like that?
I received one email to this address in my regular email. It was kind of weird. But other than that, I haven't really got any email.
In the Gmail, you mean? Or in your other
no,
email?
my Verizon.net. But
All right.
if I can set this up in my Gmail somehow as another whatever.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm the specialist to help you with that, but I can try.
All right, or I could because don't I have to set up a separate
You have to set up like a separate mailbox
box?
for it. Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the
Right.
stuff for the town.
Yeah, I know the password. I just set up mine on my phone, so
Okay.
if it'll work the same way. If the password that I have works the same way, I don't know that it will because that might be.
So
my
you
password.
might need to reach out to Josh McNeil.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah,
would
I'm
be
gonna
the guy.
call.
And just because that's when I got a town email, I had to work through him to get everything
Yeah,
set
that's
up.
what I
too,
did.
I'll
so it
call
might be-
Josh.
That's what I did too, and he was the one that.
I'll call him.
Actually, he's down at his office is down at the police station, and I actually just went down there and he set it up when. We were
Well, there's
standing there.
that.
Yeah.
I'll call.
But
him.
I emailed him and set it up with him. I didn't just.
Oh yeah, I would
Yeah.
call over.
All
and
right,
ask.
so
Wait, before you jump on, as far as the emails, in all honesty, I'd say delete them. We should not be involved directly with getting emails from people submitting these forms. And the reason why I say that, looking back on the senior citizen application, the widower application that the town has right now, none of them have emails on it. Everything is called the assessor's office. And
Can I jump in for a second?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Because so I'm on the chair of the Community Preservation Committee, and so what Josh was able to do for us, for me, was to set up an email for community preservation that is separate from my email address, but for example, it could be as the chair, I can get access to those emails in my inbox. So if someone wanted to had a question about this, they could email, whatever I don't know if Whitman aid for the whatever the thing is, but coming up with
probably going to be character restrictions
but
on that.
an email for the committee because then the other thing about it is then
If it changes.
if John steps down as chair, if I leave, if one of us leave,
Okay.
there's just an email address that goes to the committee, and
Yeah.
it could be
Yeah.
so that's
Makes
something that
sense,
Josh
yes.
can set up.
Yeah.
And then for example, like I said, as the chair, when they email, I have a folder in my Outlook that is emails to the Community Preservation Committee address, and I obviously have my own town address.
Yeah.
But it could be something where it gets set up so that for example, if someone emails the committee email, maybe John gets it because he's the chair,
Right.
and then but then when John if John ever leaves, if John steps down,
Somebody else gets
access to it, and it's just, but it's just one
Yes.
email. We don't have to keep constantly changing
You're
the
correct.
application to.
You're correct. That makes sense to me.
Do you need a,
No, that makes sense, Ryan. I agree with you there. That
I
would
do
make
think,
a
I do
lot
think
more-
instead of
Yeah.
because I also want to be mindful of the fact that like the assessor's office does a lot of things.
Right.
So adding another thing, just being like, call the assessor's office if you have questions.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yes, yeah.
like right, don't do that. So I think that, but then
And
like,
they dump it on you, Heidi. probably.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
I already have a headache.
So,
Yeah,
so
I
two
believe
things. So two things. Just to jump. I understand what you're saying there, but there's two separate spots here. So this particular where the email addresses are for her and for us was again. I just copied this from the Easton one, and this was questions on the process, not submitting applications. On section B, the application process, it actually says the applications are in the treasurer's office, in the assessor's office, or online at the website link. And I just put website link because we don't have a link yet.
Yeah.
So those are where we get the forms. This was, if you read all of that, it just says, if you have questions, contact us. So I'll just change. I'll put all our names down, and I'll just say something along the lines of, if you have any really questions, email that email.
Yeah.
Eliminate, yeah, whatever the initials are for
Right,
Whitman.
and then
And I wouldn't. I also don't know if it's possible for, and this would be obviously something that we could vote on, or if it's possible for them to set it up so that we all get those emails in our Outlook in a folder, like we all have access to that folder.
Right.
So any of us can answer the questions. So it's not just always you, John. But I think that having one email address that people could send it to, that might be easier. And then, like I said, then it just transfers to whoever is the chair at that point. But you might be able to make it so that we all have access to that
right,
folder.
I'll talk to.
Yeah, and then so if one day I'm checking my email for the town and I see that there's an email in there, I can answer it.
I think it's just if once you set up that one email, you can set that up to forward to all of our emails.
Right.
But to reply from that
might be from
email,
one, yeah.
it'd probably only be one. I guess we could all have access to it. I'll talk to Josh about
Yeah.
it. He's got his head. He's real busy right now.
Yes.
Concerning about tonight.
Otherwise involved. Yeah.
Concerning about tonight.
I know.
So, all right. So we can take care of that. Anything else that website link?
I just have this, maybe it's a silly question, but these incomes, are they gross or this net?
That is
that your-
ooh, it's got a light and everything. So, we talked about this median income. So,
Yeah.
again, Brian, define median income again. What that actually means.
So median
versus
income,
average.
right? I'm a math tutor. So median income
Okay,
is
good.
you take all of the income, and it's the income that is in the middle of all of the incomes listed.
Okay.
And so why
Not the average,
Not
it's
the
the
average,
middle.
because the
Yeah.
average will
All right.
skew. If you have a really wealthy person in town, that can mess up the average, but it won't change the median. The middle will always be
Right.
the middle.
So this specific website that's there, if if they clicked on this and plugged in town of Whitman, it actually, and if you look, this is area median income. This isn't town median income. So on that website, it defines Whitman as part of the Brockton area and whatever the towns are in there. So this is the 80% of the median income in the Brockton area, which includes Whitman and East Bridgewater and all of that. So I actually spoke with somebody, and let's see if I can get the guy's name.
Just for clarification, when you say medium income, you're talking income before taxes. In other words, what they make
That's
before
what
they
Heidi's
take.
asking.
That's what I'm asking. Is it before taxes? Or,
Yeah,
And so it's gross, before any
Gross,
deductions.
yes,
I
thank you.
believe it's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
net,
So
yes.
you're adjusted after deductions and all
Right,
that.
right.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, thank you.
So
That's all I
before-
wanted.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
before tax.
I just wanted to know.
Yeah.
Nope. Makes
Now,
sense.
this is actually fiscal year 24, so that, I was going to bring that up actually. This will obviously change before we actually set the applications out, because this is for if we were accepting applications
Right,
this
yeah.
year,
Oh,
the
yeah.
fiscal 26.
Okay,
So
yeah, you're right.
that'll change once this current year is over and we can update that information. So that will
Yeah,
change.
that'd be 25.
Unless we get a $250,000.
Right,
yeah.
And we decide to do it this year.
Some benefactor decides to
Yeah.
donate.
That's
Well,
it.
this goes up on cable. You never know. Someone might decide if they, 2 days they hear this,
Yeah,
they
you
might
limit
decide
it.
they want to.
I
Very
actually,
generous.
we'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
That's
limit
on the agenda too. All right, so we've got that. Anything else?
Yeah, under Part D, distribution funds, I guess some questionable about the wording maybe more than anything, where it says, I think the third bullet, notification of committee decision is planned to all applicants by the end of October
Yeah, I gotta change that.
2026.
So that'll change.
Does that mean that everything, we're going to make a decision?
No,
Or
no.
everybody has to have,
So,
because
that,
October
so that,
1st.
that date is wrong. That
Yeah,
date is
we
wrong.
agreed originally, October 1st was the deadline for
Right.
submit.
So what do we want that to be? We said we needed to have it done by middle of November. Is that what?
Yeah, so probably after our November meeting, whenever that
So
would
why
be.
don't we say November 30th?
Okay, yeah, instead of our,
Just say,
okay,
yeah,
That
by
was-
November- by,
that was
by
the-
November 30th, and no one's going to complain if they get it earlier than that.
Right.
yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's basically saying we're going to reply to everybody yes or no.
Yeah.
There you
You're
go.
going to hear from us either way if we, which, could be, depending upon how many we have, we could split that up and say, I can send out the sorry emails. I'm used to doing stuff like that with the club lacrosse I'm involved with, but why don't I keep pushing that? Anyway, all right, that's a good point. Thank you. And that'll be November 27, 2027.
Okay.
Yeah, there's where it says the town cannot guarantee any
Wait, well, just-
disbursements in any given year.
You just said November 27th. What do you mean November
It'll be
26th?
26. It will still be 26. You're right.
6.
That's just a typo. I'm capital. I'm capital P. Like, sorry.
Capital P?
Yeah. Like McDonald or whatever.
Okay. But that's not bad. I thought I did pretty good then. I wasn't sure. Did that.
Yeah, I was looking too. Fiscal 24 that you got here at 68.5. The medium for 25, fiscal 25, only goes up by 4,000. It goes to 72,950.
Where did you get that? Oh, is that
Same
from?
place, yeah, same place. You got the 24. I just
Okay.
printed 25s as well.
What is 25? It's probably going to go up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess fiscal year 25 is almost over, so yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
It's hard. It's so
Yeah.
different because you deal with
I know, yeah.
July to June fiscal year.
Oh, I know.
But then I
And
just
the
found out the other day that my excise tax for my car is calendar year.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, okay,
Yeah, no, I
that's
know.
cool because I got a new car and getting. I had already paid the old car and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, well.
Do we need to say, it says please return, we don't say where.
To that address.
Oh, okay. Oh, to that. Okay.
All right, I'll reword
Sorry.
that a little bit.
Oh, okay, there you go,
Okay.
yeah.
To that end, okay.
Taxation
Sorry.
Aid Committee, there you go.
Okay, perfect.
Makes sense to me, yeah.
To, yeah, actually, and does it? You must know what the PO box is because they'd rather go to the PO box, right? You don't.
We have two, yeah. We
Okay,
have two. One for our lockbox, but it's 5. I'd take keys.
that's all right. I'll
I can tell you on the way back if we walk downstairs on the keys.
okay.
There you go.
Because we have one for lockbox. I don't give you that one.
Please
Yeah.
return.
427 is for bills.
Oh yeah,
You don't want that
says
one.
2 right there.
427, and there's another one 598 maybe, but I have to look at the key.
Okay, yeah, because I think that they'd
Yeah.
rather it go to the PO box
Sure. Yeah.
than hopefully that must be like a real big PO box,
No,
not my
it's
little
not that
tiny
big.
one.
No, it's a little one.
Because I have one for my business down there. Okay.
So just a quick question about this, and this is again, so for the Community Preservation Committee, we ask for, if it says here electronic copy is not accepted, and I guess that's probably good based on obviously all the personal information that's being provided.
Right.
But do we want, are they, for Community Preservation, we ask for copies for all of do we want to do that? Have 5 copies, or just have the one and then we copy it ourselves? Or?
Yeah, I don't mind making copies.
Okay.
You're asking.
I know.
It's a different clientele.
Right, it is. It definitely is.
That's
I just wanted to run
Yeah,
that
that's
by.
a good. That's a good.
Yeah, because
Because
I have a copy that I make. It's obviously as I
Right,
printed
yeah.
all this all out, so that I don't have a problem with that. And we can figure out once we start getting exactly what we need copies of, or But sounds good. How many are on your committee?
well, there's supposed to be 10, I think, but
Yeah,
we don't.
really?
We haven't had 10 since the beginning. Yeah.
I guess you can do multiple committees. I'm finding out, right?
Oh yeah.
The only one that can't is the finance committee.
Yep.
Finance committee can only be finance committee, and then can only also be on a building committee. That's the
I'll
only
talk to
two
you.
things.
What are they?
Wow.
'Cause I want to know more about what they do.
Oh, community preservation.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Actually, I think the capital committee they can be on too. But anyway, all right. Anything else? Obviously, we'll revisit this again. So if we catch anything
Yeah.
else, we can address it at the next meeting because we won't. We're obviously not going to vote this through. So next, discuss funding options. Okay, so I went down to the clerk's office and I talked to Mike, and Mike said we have an electronic. You can request an electronic copy of businesses in Whitman, and it doesn't cost you anything. If you wanted it printed out, it would cost you. So I did that.
Request like on have it sent to you email wise?
Have emailed to me.
Oh, okay.
So I did that early last week. Dawn was out last week. So when she came in on Monday, she emailed me a list of, lots.
Businesses in town, yeah, I'm
Lots
sure.
and lots. So what she did, or what Mike told me, was that the list only contains businesses that are Whitman businesses. So like Stop and Shop's not on it, and Cumberland's isn't on it because they're corporate.
Corporate,
who
yeah.
have-
Right.
Okay. So I went through and actually electronically on my Google map went up and down the main drags and up 18,
27.
yeah, 27,
Yeah.
and just try to figure out businesses that are missed, and I listed them all. And then I went through and I said, all right, well, these are the ones that I'm calling it that we're gonna target. And I have right now 145 businesses that I have listed that we would target out of 495.
Yep. Wow.
So, like I said, obviously the ones that I added, I only added them because I figured we'd target them. Now, some of these businesses are small, Some of them are bigger. Burger King, Regal Marketplace. Those are guys that, Egan Real Estate, Rosen Realty.
Yeah.
Those are all ones. Dunkin' Donuts. Duval's, lots of them that I think will be interested in getting involved here. So at this point, all I have is addresses and phone numbers of the ones that were on the list that I received. I actually do have the owner's name of the ones that came from the clerk's office. Obviously, the ones that I added, I don't. I did put in their addresses, but no phone numbers. Sadly, there's no email addresses for any of these. I was hoping there would be email addresses. So
If you go online, like Stop and
Yeah.
Shop and those, you'll
Yeah.
find the corporate headquarters. And
right.
email.
So again, my plan is to continue now that we're planning on working on this for a little while before we get going. Go through and see how many of these I can get emails on. Ideally, I think it would be best to start with an email to try to set up an appointment, but I want to get face to face as much as I can. Once I have a better list together, I can share it with you all, and maybe there's some that you may want to volunteer to go for. Others probably we shouldn't be sending Sharon out soliciting money for the town. That probably isn't going to look very good. And Heidi
agree.
too, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
I don't
That
know,
might
on
be a
the-
conflict of interest on your Board of Assessors position to be out. I don't know. I mean,
I can check and see.
yeah,
if
we
I
can
just
see.
have to
Certainly,
disclose.
Sharon, we're not going to send out. I mean, that's not going to work at all. So
I might just have to disclose it. That's all.
yeah, I mean that we can figure that out once we
Yeah.
get there. I mean, I'm still a ways away before I think I have a list that's ready to go. I was just pleased when I did get the clerk's list how many businesses were on there, and some of them I put Autotech in because I didn't see them, but then they would do business Autotech. Oh, some of them
Have a DBA.
Yeah.
the
DBA
DBA is Autotech, and well,
Yeah.
not Autotech, but some of them, the DBA is that. So when I originally scanned through it, I didn't see it, and then once I started adding things, it popped up. Oh, all right, they're already there. Anyway, yeah. So
Yeah, you got to figure out what you're going to word, how you're going to state it. You don't want to make it too lengthy, but
right.
get shot.
Well,
to the point.
I think we need to, in our last meeting, Heidi wasn't here. We discussed having, the kind of the levels of donorship.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
and
yeah.
so we need to set all that up, and there's a lot of work to do before we start going out and trying to collect funds. I mean, I need to. While I'm talking to Josh, I'm going to talk to Josh about the best way to set up social media pages. I think it's probably going to be best for us to for me to just do it as a separate entity, not through the obviously the website should have our committee listed and a link on our website page to donate. But as far as rewarding those people that donate and the ones that are in the higher levels, I think we need some kind of social media present to list.
And did we mention this last week? What about the sign out front? Because that's something. Would we be able to use the sign out front to announce if people?
Oh, that's a good idea.
If a,
Thank you to
whoever for your
for being a platinum donor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Because that would be something that it's easy enough to do now that we have that sign.
Yeah,
As opposed to the old white one.
yeah. That's.
I don't know. We might have to check.
Again,
I don't know what the rules are about what can go on that sign and not. But I feel
Yeah.
like that might be something that's thanking business communities for supporting a town.
Yeah, we could
Initiative
actually.
seems like something they
Yeah,
could
I mean, there'd
probably
probably be enough room in there. I mean, we're probably not going to have a whole lot of platinum and gold donors. But what did we say? Just so Heidi knows, we said a platinum donor would be anybody that donates $2,000 or more. Gold would be $1,000 or more. Silver would be $500 or more, and bronze would be $250 or more. I think is what we said, and then the rest would be. Friends would be anything that would be
donations.
Yeah,
yeah.
Any donation.
So the friends we probably wouldn't list. The bronze probably, but platinum or gold or even maybe silver.
But you might be able to just even cycle through them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You might just.
I don't know if
Oh, there you go.
I don't,
The sign does change, I
it
think,
does
doesn't it?
change. I don't know how many different
Things,
how many
yeah.
pages it'll display. I've only seen it do 2.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking as a donation comes in, right? You could add it to that week's.
Yeah.
Or whatever thing is. I don't know how often.
Put that on the back burner, and
Yeah.
we'll figure out that.
Right. We gotta get some donations before we figure out how we start thanking them first.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Exactly.
I don't want to get too far ahead
Right.
on that.
But that's another thing we
focus more on how we're going to get the money right now.
Oh yeah.
Because I also,
Yeah, but-
I also think that is, if we're thinking about the audience, or the audience for this, I think the seniors are probably more likely to see that sign maybe than necessarily be. So it would be a nice thing because I think that's something that everyone will see, and also I think especially because it's right next to the council agents over there, so they're going to be in the area. They'll see the businesses
I
that
mean,
are.
maybe the first thing we'd want to get on that sign would be announcing how you donate.
Right.
And then, I mean, because there's a lot of logistics to what you're talking about once the donations come in, and I don't even know how are we going to get, I mean, obviously Sharon's going to know, I would guess. I don't know how often you don't get alerted when somebody pays online to pay their,
No. So
Yeah.
monthly we sweep. We went back and go more often.
yeah.
Well, but you think even monthly, like going through and then seeing if there's,
Yeah.
there were donations, online donations
Yeah.
made, and let's say
Yeah.
let's say a resident makes a
Yeah.
$2,000 donation on their tax bill, like you'll see that. There must be, is there a way that you'll be able? I mean, I guess this is new, but if they make an additional payment, will that come through when you?
Yes.
Will you be able to search for that?
So that's what we're going to have to do. So we have to reach out to SoftWrite so that on when we take payments, there'll be a spot, like there'll be, taxes, interest, and leave one for donations.
Okay.
So that way, and they'll go to the fund that we have set up for it.
Okay.
And then
That's
you'll be able to look and see
Yes.
like what
That's
donations were
that's
made.
the online payments. What about
No.
if somebody checks the box that we're going to talk
No,
about?
that's including that SoftWrite.
Okay.
When we plug it in.
Okay.
So if someone makes an additional payment on their taxes
Yes.
or excise tax, that will show. There'll be a way that you'll be able to see
Just
that
like
every month.
CPA
Yeah.
gets to their spot.
Yep.
So that's what we have to work with SoftWrite to get a spot so that goes to their spot.
Yeah.
Which is next on our
Which will be,
agenda.
yeah.
All right, so that's cool. So, funding. So, item C there. I think we're ongoing with that. That'll be on our agenda for a while, and we'll just keep updating as we move along. And like I said, so I'm trying to figure out a best way to share documents other than emailing. I use Dropbox for a lot of things, and I know a lot of people use Google now because that's more. But I'm wondering if I create a Dropbox and I invite you all to do it on your government email, all you do have to do is accept. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to sign up or anything. Has anybody ever used Dropbox before?
I have a long time ago.
Yeah,
Okay,
likewise. I
Yeah.
don't remember what it's even about, how you operate with it. Last time I used it was probably 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
If I
Well, that's because
once.
Google's kind of making it
Yeah.
obsolete.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Google
I have
Docs
so many.
is like
Yeah,
Yes.
Google-
Yeah.
So I mean,
Drive,
with that, what
yeah.
people would rather do is Google Docs. It's just I know, like for my Google Doc, I can't use my government email. I have to log on with a different
Right.
email.
Really?
you do. You have to use your Gmail.
Like Gmail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, if we want, I'm happy to use Google too, as long as everybody, if that's what's preferred.
You
just,
can't use a Word document or a PDF or
Yeah, but
anything
you
like
gotta
that
save
to
it.
attach it.
No, I can attach the emails and do that. It's just that if we share it via Google or Dropbox,
We all can.
people can access
It's
it and it's
add
real
stuff
time.
in
You
there.
Oh,
can
okay.
make changes.
Folder
You
and-
can, you
yeah.
can,
All
you
right.
can edit it. You can do things. You could make a note. Hey, I'm going to grab these 5. I'm going to call on these 5. We
Right,
can
right.
put a spot on here. Who's going to, once we get this file going. I mean, this is an Excel file that I have going right here. Not a Google file. I'm not going to use Google.
Yeah.
I'm going to use Excel just because I know Excel.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't
So we'll put,
Yeah.
we'll put the Excel file in the Google
Docs.
in the area where we can all access it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Whether it's
then
Dropbox or
people can access it. And like I said, I'll put in a column if who's going to call on them.
But just,
we can
it's
volunteer.
been a little while since I've used Dropbox, but the idea is that like if you
We're
send,
going to use Google. Don't worry about it.
okay, well, okay,
Yeah.
I was thinking-
Everybody else. I was trying to get the feel
Yeah.
of it.
Okay.
But we can't use our Outlook
can't-
to get.
We can't use Outlook to do it. That's why
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to circle back to the Dropbox because I mean personally I would prefer to keep those things separate.
Yeah.
So I'm not because I use my Gmail. I mean I have and Whitman Hansen uses uses Google Drive and stuff. So the idea of having it be something where I go into my Outlook and then so you're not sending emails.
So are you able to get onto the Google Drive with your Whitman email, or do you have you get onto it with your,
So
your
when
new district email?
with my district email. So the district email says they use Google for theirs. So
Right.
but then I also have my work that I do. I use my Gmail for that, and so I don't know, but so I think the idea that you'd have to probably email us stuff to our personal emails for us to be able to access it,
I
right?
think it would all be personal. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why
That's why I'm looking about. That's why I want to circle
Yeah.
back to the Dropbox idea, so that you can be sending stuff from your government email to our government emails, and we're able to access it from our government emails and not.
So Dropbox. Let's see if I can show.
Because when you do it, it sends an email to us with a link in it that we can click on the link to access the document.
So
right?
actually,
That's how.
Oh, what, through
works.
Dropbox?
I don't know if you can see this,
Yeah.
but
Really?
Dropbox,
You put the link and
Dropbox
it
right
takes you in
here.
there.
It takes you in there, right?
Dropbox, well, I'm on a Mac, so I don't know if it's different on a PC, but Dropbox is an actual icon at the top of my
It's
thing.
an app.
It's an app that runs, and I can basically, it's like a network sharing.
Yeah. Right. But I guess the question
So
I'm
I
asking
can
is that-
I can click on Dropbox in as a folder, and
But with Dropbox,
and it
yeah.
opens up that shared file.
But if you add, let's say, if you
Stored
add something to the Dropbox, you could notify us via our government.
So if you
emails.
actually load the app on your computer,
You
it
can just go in
updates
the app.
automatically when you open your computer. So like if somebody, Massachusetts, that's the club lacrosse team I'm involved
Yeah.
with. So we have a folder that 5 guys see. And if somebody adds a file to that folder, or if somebody makes a change to that folder, it automatically updates when my computer is.
But I guess what would the notification system be?
It'll show up and you'll get like a little notification in the top. But I mean, you can set it up to notify via email
Okay.
if you want. Let's you and I experiment.
Okay.
with this, and we'll figure out if
Okay.
it will work or not, and then we can
Perfect.
bring the rest
Yeah,
of
go
us
from
in.
there, okay.
Okay, and then we'll see what's the best way to do this. Because
Okay.
I know when I was on, and this might have changed when Josh changed the way the emails are done. When I was on the middle school building committee, I used my government email to access the middle school Google Drive.
Okay.
So each time I did it, it sent a code to when I wanted to log on, it would email me a code that I had to plug in. But that might have changed now because I think now that they've gone to the new emails, that the way he's doing it now, maybe that you're saying that doesn't work. We can try both.
But yeah, I just want. Well, I think that's the thing is because I think if you have to sign in with a Gmail to get into the Google Drive, that would.
Let
be
me figure out if there's how.
I think we probably all have
how the
Gmails,
district did it.
yeah.
If I set it up with my Gmail, and then I invite you at your Whitman email, if that'll work.
Okay.
We'll try that first.
All right, yeah,
and then
sure.
we'll go into Dropbox.
Yeah.
We can do that offline.
Yeah,
you know.
okay.
So I don't think that we're violating any
If we're testing, I think we're testing
public,
out
Yeah.
public meeting
You're not
issues.
putting anything in there.
Yeah.
No,
It just
no, we're just testing.
It just says hi, John.
technology
I think we're
testing
good.
is
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. Wait, now I lost my page here. Sorry.
In the meantime, I'll get my town email set up.
Okay, so that's any other discussion on funding options? Because we can lead right into Sharon's point is we have a deadline to get this donation boxes on the tax bills that are going to be going out next week. So we need
Going
to
to print it next week, yeah.
yeah, we need to decide right now how that's going to look and what those boxes are going to be. I mean,
Yep.
judging by that's Hanson's.
Yeah.
I want this again.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I get
Here,
it.
I'll
Same
give
one.
the idea.
So this is their.
That's what they do.
Oh, all
This is
right.
what
There you go.
the division. This is what the MGL. That's
Where was this?
they just kind of show you.
Oh,
by
What
law.
is what is this?
This is the Mass General Law.
Lisa Clark, she used to be
This is the page. This is
collector
what
in
we have on it.
Rockland.
You know, I
That's
don't know
so
if
funny
anything-
seeing
I don't know if
that
that's
name.
helpful or not.
What's
This is the Mass General Law. That's what we're allowed to put on the bill. That's all.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Seniors disabled.
okay.
Yeah,
You got-
Okay.
yeah. So the
Yeah.
the reason
Yeah.
that seniors
Perfect.
disabled is there
Yep.
because,
Yep.
and that's why we're here. The same
Yep.
law. All right.
Oh,
So
we need one,
does everybody
okay.
have a copy of the
Okay.
Hanson?
There you
Let's
go.
look at the
I guess
Hanson
both.
one.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I got one right here. Yeah.
Okay. So the Hanson one. I mean, that looks
Sharon?
Yep.
perfect to me.
Where is
The only
the
question I'd
box?
have is,
Yeah.
what do we want
Yeah.
those
No,
boxes?
voluntary contribution for to not education fund.
Yeah. To
How can we shorten this a little? Because we definitely space is a premium on these bills.
to the
Ooh, taxation aid fund?
taxation aid fund.
Fund.
Yeah, that might be a better
Elderly.
way.
Then
Let's
Yeah.
just say
I said to
elderly.
myself,
Shorten it.
people aren't going to have any idea what we're talking about. A lot of
True,
people aren't going to know
no,
what we're
you're
talking
right,
about.
yeah,
So
no,
we
they-
need to do insert.
That's what I'm
Okay,
thinking.
these are the inserts we use for CPA.
Okay.
But this for the this is the idea,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So this is to tell them what it's about. So I think we need to look at, right?
Oh, wow.
So who pays for that?
The insert? That's going to go with. I was just gonna
It's in the budget. I don't know.
I don't know. We don't need all
Okay, I'll
this.
ask her, okay. But she knows. I said we're going to have to put an insert in, right? She said yes.
I think that's
Yeah, to explain.
the only
Okay.
way.
Yeah, because they're not going to have any idea why we're going to
What
get
a
calls
what?
off the yin yang.
Okay.
What's this about?
Okay. All right. You're going
Yeah.
to get those calls.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they'll be
Yes,
at
of
the
course.
counter,
All
Sharon.
right.
Exactly.
So you
Yeah.
you.
Could we-
Okay. So you this is specifically for us. I haven't
Yes.
read it yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's-
So let's look at
I
that.
just took this from the other information we have.
Okay.
We can change it totally,
Yeah.
make it simpler, whatever. I just didn't know we needed to.
I'm
tell
going to
them what
read
it's
this
about.
out loud so that it's on
Sure.
Okay,
on
sure,
our
yeah.
audio. So this is the information that we're talking about to put on an insert to the real estate tax bills that are going to go out last week. Or next week, as we're discussing how to put the voluntary checkoff for contribution to the taxation fund on the bills that are going to go out. So the proposal for the insert is this: information regarding Whitman aid to the elderly and disabled taxation fund. The town voted unanimously to adopt the provisions of MGL Chapter 60, Section 3D at the annual town meeting May 7th, 2001, to authorize the town to design and designate a place on municipal tax bills whereby the taxpayers may voluntarily check off, donate, and pledge an amount not less than $1, or such other designated amount which shall increase the amount otherwise due, and to establish a Whitman aid to the elderly and disabled taxation fund for the purpose of defraying the real estate taxes of the elderly and disabled person of low income. Any amounts donated to said fund shall be deposited into a special account in the general treasury, and a taxation aid committee shall be appointed. Taxation shall be appointed and adopt rules and regulations to carry out the provision of this section and identify the recipients of such aid. So right off the bat,
Yep.
the taxation committee has been appointed
Okay.
and has adopted
Okay.
rules, right? Because we have.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
have our rules all set. We don't have the application
And
done.
has adopted rules.
Has been said
Has
fund has
Been appointed.
been appointed and
Has
has adopted rules and regulations to carry out. Right.
of this section.
That work?
Yeah.
Is it too wordy?
Anything? No, because I think that's
Okay.
good. I'm actually impressed. That's pretty professional and
Well, I took it from the-
legal aid. It's easy legal speak, but it tells everything it needs to say.
Yeah.
And it's not like,
good, yeah.
what are
Okay.
you saying? I
Yeah.
think it's pretty clear.
Okay. I took it from the vote at the town that Dawn submitted.
Okay.
I think that's perfect then.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Yep,
So,
the article.
all right. I think we can, once we,
What about pledge? I don't know if I like the word pledged. Isn't it where the taxes may
Donate.
voluntary check off and donate? What about pledge? Then they're not. Put
Yeah,
it in
no
the envelope?
pledging,
No
no
pledging.
No
pledging.
right?
pledging,
yeah.
donating.
true,
Yeah,
true,
okay.
yeah.
Voluntary check off and donate an amount
Right.
less than $1, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
I
And I
agree.
got the word the, and then under the dollar one, establish a Whitman aid to the elderly and disabled.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll put
Okay.
those.
So we're in agreement there. So I think on this
Yes.
here, we have voluntary check off for contribution to
Taxation.
elderly taxation fund. We don't have to put the disabled in there too. I
Taxation
think.
fund. Okay.
Is that going to fit on that space?
He may be able to move it back a little. I'm not sure.
If not, take out elderly
Okay.
taxation
Aid fund is,
aid fund.
yeah.
I think
Yeah,
taxation
that's probably
aid
good.
fund should be in there too.
Or else short,
Hopefully-
just tax aid fund or whatever. I don't
Yeah, hopefully we can say elderly tax aid fund, but if we can't, take
Yeah.
out elderly and say taxation aid fund.
Elderly taxation.
If we can fit it all.
And you
of
can
that.
say
Elderly
tax
taxation.
instead of taxation.
Yeah, we
'cause
can
that
say
cut-
tax. Yeah,
that'll
that's
cut
good
it.
too.
Elderly tax fund. Elderly tax aid fund.
Aid fund.
Yeah.
Would like aid fund.
And if we can't fit all that, take out the elderly.
And we'll just say tax
Okay.
aid fund.
Okay.
Because also we'll be getting this
Yes.
with it. So
Yes.
I think
Right.
that'll
To explain.
Correct.
Yes.
explain
Yeah.
it. So we don't have to
Correct.
put everything in the.
So that's good. So,
So now the
then
amount.
amount of contribution. When we say we have to have $1,
Yeah.
To me, it's
Yeah.
5, 10, 20 and other. So it's 1, 5, 10, 20 other. I mean,
1, 5, 10,
okay.
20, other. Okay.
5, 10.
Because if they want to give two, they can put that in other.
They could put that in.
Right, we don't, yeah.
People want to do less. I mean, I actually thought it would be, I was thinking to go 5, 10, 20, 50, but we need to put one in there now because we say that's the law. So
Yep.
we have to have
Right,
an
right.
option
Right.
for one.
Right.
I mean, we could do 1, 10, 20, 50.
Yeah.
1, 10, 20, 50, other.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
I know.
You're not
I mean,
gonna-
who's going to do $2 or
Right.
$1?
Who's going to
Yeah, I know,
do
yeah.
$5,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean,
So you're saying that because of the way the law is written, we have to have $1 as an option?
we have to have $1 in there. I'm
Oh, really?
assuming
Not
we
less
have-
than $1.
Not less than $1.
all right.
So we have to
But they could put that in the other. Do we have to necessarily put it as an option, like a checkoff option? Because they could write for other. If they want to give $1, they could put $1 for the other, right?
So what would you say you want those 4 numbers to be?
I would say only the higher amounts leave it the way it is. But I mean, maybe you have another reasoning.
Well, I think my thought is just that like people are suggestible,
I don't,
right? So I think
If I leave a suggestion that it's $2, somebody says, "Oh, okay, I'll do $2." I'd rather have the suggestion be $10, just so
Yeah.
you know. I mean,
I agree.
You know,
10,
if they want to do
15.
less, they can do less. You know,
Or like
I'll do
5,
$5.
10, 20,
5 is in
50.
the middle. I'll do 5. I'd rather
5,
have 20 in
10,
the middle.
15.
yeah,
You know, just
I like 25 or 50.
25?
Actually.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that too. Would it be better than to have 1, 10, 20, 25, or do you still want the 5 in
1,
there?
10, 25,
You know,
50.
50. 1, 10, 25. 50.
I would want 1, 10, 25, 50.
I like
is what
that.
I would want.
Yeah,
25.
Oh, really?
I like,
If we
25
have-
is better than 20.
yeah, I like the 25.
Yeah.
Okay, 1, 10, 25, and 50. Okay.
That's what I mean, I had 20 originally, but
I like
25. Go. Let's go
still-
25. It's in the middle.
Yeah, that's why.
1, 10, 25, 50, other.
All right, yeah. That makes sense.
Cool.
1, 10, 25, 50 other.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
so I'm
so-
not going to send these around to be proofread afterwards, right? We're just going to proofread them in our office.
You just do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mary Beth, I talked to Mary Beth, and she said that you needed to talk to somebody in the Department of Revenue or some commissioner or something like that.
But Danny gave us this information from that. That's
Okay.
what that's what this book was from.
Okay. All right. So
Okay,
we're good.
these are informational guides.
Yeah, so because
yeah, he
the
said no.
concern was that
Yeah.
we need to have the select board approve this, and Mary Beth said no, they didn't have to, as
And-
long as you cleared it with the
Yeah.
people you needed to
Yeah.
clear with.
Yep.
So we're good to go with getting.
Yeah, they already
That's cute. That's
approved the
good.
committee.
So you just quickly we need to get this account set up, don't we?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're good with
Yeah.
getting all of this to happen. Wow, man. Yes.
Good.
Sharon's.
Awesome. All right. Cool. Are we good? Do we need to vote this? Do you think? Vote. Take a motion to accept as discussed the insert and the form to go on to the tax bills.
I would, just in case anybody has any questions, at least it's on.
You just-
I just
Second.
I put the motion. No, I can't make the motion.
All right.
I
I
will
make
accept that.
yeah.
motion.
I make a motion that we have that we vote on the voluntary checkoff for contribution, the amount as designated as $1, $10, $25, and $50 and other, as we discussed.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
And then do we have to have a motion to accept the language of the
Yes.
insert?
So
I make
ahead.
a motion to accept the language for the insert that will go into the tax bills as amended by the committee to remove the word pledge and change shall be appointed to has been appointed and has adopted rules.
Second.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay.
And I'll check to see if there is a fee for us to do that.
Okay.
Do you want me to check it? Right.
Yeah, we probably should.
Okay.
Yeah.
There has to be.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, I don't know how that gets addressed.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, other than if, depending upon what the amount is,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to pay for it myself.
We could all pitch in.
Yeah, true.
I think we can do that. I'm not sure if that's an issue or not, but the other thing,
It would come under general funds, wouldn't it, for something like that? We were just establishing this?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You're going to
Yeah.
talk to Mary Beth about
Yeah,
it?
I will.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
Let us
especially
know, Sharon.
budget
these
crunches.
times.
Yeah.
Especially
I mean,
now.
I know. I mean, I was in the printing business. Printing up. I mean, how many are you printing up? 10,000.
Well, 4,000.
Oh, is that how many
Okay.
go out? 4,000. That's. I mean, a couple $100 anyway.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, printing and cutting and inserting and
True, yeah.
Yeah, I
Because you
mean-
send it out to have all the bills done. So, yeah.
a
Just
lot of times there's machines that'll do that, but
Does the CPA thing go out every?
No.
It was just when it was first adopted.
First, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and now it's not. Everybody knows.
just one other thing, and I'm not expecting anybody else to do this, but I spoke with the town administrator's office about getting a business card printed up for myself. You probably already have one, but I've wanted to have something left behind when I go. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pay for it myself. I'm not expecting any of you to do that,
what
but
do
I
you mean?
just.
A business card.
So if I walk into Stop and Shop and
Oh,
I'm-
you're legit.
and I'm-
I think that's a good
Gotcha.
idea.
yeah, so
Let me
Harding
know
Print
how
is the
much
one.
that is.
I'm going to try to figure it out, and they told me to go down to Harding Print. But again, like I had Wendy's business card, which had me think about it. And it's
Staples.
like, how do I get? No, we have to go to Harding Print because that's who does the Whitman
Really?
business card.
Okay.
And getting the name of our committee on a business card is going to be.
Oh, yeah.
I need like a microscope to see the thing. So, let me
So
figure
can
it all out.
can that be? Can we put that on the next agenda? Is to figure out what
An
we're going to call
acronym.
ourselves?
Yeah.
John, you can design it. Design the card.
I was going to
Make
figure
a
it out.
template.
I will
Can't
figure
you
it
use
out.
2 lines? I mean, so
Yeah,
you
I
can say
mean,
the
even
whole...
though I should have
mean,
brought the business card, but it's tiny. I mean,
Yeah, small.
you know,
You can only fit so much.
but
We can
anyway.
talk about that next
All right.
meeting. Make
So,
an acronym.
Right, yeah, exactly, or something.
any new topics regarding structure of the process that anybody would like to discuss, other than the business card that I just discussed? No. Okay. I will accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.